The 5 sets of concept photos and the Instagram posts that go with them continue the story after the Inner Shadows trailers. The first set of photos, Control, shows the members in uniform, in straight lines. Everything is muted and gray and lacking individuality. Even with all the gray, we do get some interplay between light and shadow, but always only part of the members' faces. And once again, we see Vernon and Wanu coming forward as main characters, because as carrots have noticed, they're the only ones with the top of their uniform unbuttoned, possibly representing rebellion or their willingness to change. When I first saw this concept, I was uncertain how it connected to what came before, because it seemed so different from the end of Darling. But if we look at it, clearly the members are feeling controlled from the outside and unhappy before facing their inner shadows. When we look at the Instagram photo about this, it makes more sense. Looking at all the Instagram posts and the imagery together, it seems clear that the sun is being used as a metaphor for fame or success. And in this post in particular, we get the idea that following the sun causes shadows, meaning that pursuing their ambitions and being successful actually causes them doubts and fears. So I think what we're seeing here in the control pictures is that outer manifestation of the pain that pursuing success has caused them. If control is what's happening on the outside, then shadow is what's happening to the members internally. There's no group photo for shadow because each member is dealing with his own doubts, as we saw in the trailers. And we get repeated imagery from the trailers. We see the members are trapped, unable to escape, tied down. We also see light and shadow again, although in this case, the light is almost blinding to the members. And it's also interesting to note that instead of just gray tones, now we have black and white as our color palette. We see our main characters again as well. We see Wanu escaping, and both he and Vernon have flashlights, so a clear indication that they are able to see through the darkness or find a way past their fears. In the shadow Instagram post, we also see an escape. I take the I in this post to mean their inner self, full of doubts and fears. And in this post, we can see them, with help, bringing those doubts and fears out into the light. The third concept is Ray, and immediately we see a change. The members are reunited, they're out of uniform, they're wearing colors. In fact, Wanu is very dramatically burning the uniform from the Control episode, a clear indication that they're unwilling to go back to that time. We see the members all together, and they are, of course, facing the sun. Each member is holding a burning object. If there's a significance to who is holding what, I have not been able to figure that out. Some hold branches, others hold roses, some hold matches. Wuji has a candle, and of course, Hoshi has apparently become a firebender. In addition to creating some beautiful visuals, the fire has particular significance when we look at the Instagram post. Here they describe creating a fire themselves, one to rival the sun and drive away their shadows. They think that the fire will get rid of the shadows, and they're very proud of it, but in the end it ends up backfiring. They create smoke, they end up burned, and they're still prey to their shadows. I interpret lighting their own fire to mean that they were pursuing their ambitions very intensely. They thought that following the path to success would get rid of all their fears and doubts, but in the end, it backfired and caused them more harm. At the end of the post, they say that they have to become the sun. They need a new way forward where they can acknowledge their fears and doubts, but still manage to pursue success. Before we talk about the next concept, I do want to mention this mural from the Darling music video. The mural essentially tells the whole story of the music video. On the left-hand side, we see everything happy and colorful. We see them running towards the red door, and then we see them falling into chaos and darkness. But notice on the right-hand side, here they all are together, but in the desert with the sun beating down on them. A lot like they are in Ray, or maybe in Path. So one of the many, many interesting details and hints that we got in the music video. The next concept shows them finding their way forward in path. Once again, we have our main characters with their flashlights, but we also have many other members with symbols of exploration and adventure. We've got the binoculars, the spyglass, the ship's wheel, all indicating trying to find a path forward. And DK in particular has the compass, which was another symbol from the music video. The Instagram post for path reinforces that they are headed in a new direction. It tells us immediately that they've made a decision, they're going to pursue the sun, but they're going to go their own way, a way that nobody else has been. Looking back, what they see behind them seems like a mirage, but they found that they've actually created their own road with a forest in it. Career-wise, it seems like they've decided to pursue success together, but in a new way, one that presumably takes into account their shadows. And looking back, they're able to see how much progress they've already made, that they've actually created this path behind them and things are thriving in it. Final concept, Pioneer, really puts everything together. We see the members on motorcycles wearing edgy looks, another indication that they are on a journey together, but headed in a new direction. For the first time, their vehicles and styles are modern, but notice that their clothes look a little bit worn and undone. I'm probably reading too much into this, but I like to take this as, even though they're going in a new direction, they're still bringing their old experiences with them. They are a little worn, but better than ever. I was surprised to see that the color palette went back to the black and white, mostly neutral tones that we had seen earlier. I expected more color at the end, but now I think that it represents the fact that their shadows are still with them, but they've learned to live with them and deal with them. Instagram post compares the excitement of turning on a motorcycle and hearing the engine rumble to 17's excitement over showing everybody their new selves. The quotes indicate that they are willing to risk it all to take an adventure together. I particularly like the quote, "Vivid and agile, luminous and rough, high and wide, dark and dazzling, there we go." To me, that suggests that they've accepted all the different parts of themselves, including their shadows, and that's why they're able to go forward into the future. And of course, the final line seems to refer to the members themselves, or possibly to KIIS, as being their support, this idea that they've got something unbreakable by their side. So after all this, what is facing the sun? It means that 17 are being honest about their fears and doubts, but also about their ambitions, and that they've committed to facing these things together, and they want to show us a new side of themselves. It is no coincidence that the title for their world tour is Be the Sun, a phrase that they've used throughout the promotions. It's clear that 17 is ready to stop following behind others and instead embrace their success and their fame. They're ready to be the sun. I don't want to comment on the new album until we have the full music video and the songs, but certainly some of the song titles are quite suggestive, and it'll be interesting to see how they connect to the promos. And of course, we've got some repeated imagery and some new imagery in the music video trailers. So all that to say, I'm super excited about the new album and can't wait to see where this goes.